You and your husband were friends with Rob and Michelle Reiner, and I'm very sorry for your loss.
My God.
How long have you known the Reiners?
We've known them for many, many years, and we were supposed to be seeing them that night, last night. And we got the news. And let me just say this, unlike some people, Rob and Michelle Reiner are some of the most decent, courageous people you ever want to know. They're not deranged or crazed. What they have always been are passionate people in a time when there's not a lot of courage going on. They were the kind of people who were ready to put their actions behind what they cared about. And they cared about their family, and they cared about this country, and they cared about fairness and equity. And that is the truth. I do know them.
We have a racist in the White House. We have a sexist in the White House, and he is tearing away at the fabric of our democracy.
The single most unqualified human being to ever assume the presidency of the United States. He's mentally unfit.
People always say, you know, he could redo All in the Family. I said, what do you mean? We're living it. We've got Archie in the White House. He always, when he quotes something that isn't him, and they're talking about Donald Trump, he goes, well, Donald Trump, bo, 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 bo. Every character is exactly the same. Well, Donald Trump, bo, 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 every time. And he always does that walk where he does like this, you know? Always.
The problem he has, as far as I can see, is that he's a pathological liar. People have to understand our democracy is being taken away from us. Make no mistake, we have a year before this country becomes a full-on autocracy. This is not a political party anymore. I don't know what this is. I believe there's a Christian nationalist movement that's very frightening. Do we want to continue democracy, or do we want to slip into fascism?
Well, it's the early 1980s. You've just finished All in the Family. The whole country knew who you were.
Now nobody knows.
You decide you're going to direct your first feature film.
Right.
You try to do something really safe.
Well, people would say, well, I can't believe your first movie would be improvised. There'd be no script. And that's scary. And to me, it was the opposite. I wasn't scared.
The film was a fake documentary about a fake band.
You must have made a long time.
That satirized the antics of real rock musicians. On stage and in the green room.
Jasmine Crockett spends $50,000 on security. Jasmine Crockett spends eye-popping amount of money on luxury. Jasmine Crockett spends nearly $75,000 on luxury. And where's the breakdown of this money? Oh, it's right here. But wait a minute. What is that? That's her FEC filings? Before I get into the hypocrisy of all that, let me make two very important points. Number one, these are her FEC filings. That means this was public. That means it was legal. That means she wasn't hiding it. And number two, I want a sitting congresswoman to have security, and I don't want her staying in Motel 6. So what's the problem here? You realize that Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett needs security because you jackasses spend all your time spreading fucking bullshit stories like this to feed red meat to the base so that they'll continue to threaten and go after her, right? Meanwhile, you ignore that information that just came out that Matt Gaetz spent money to take advantage of a disenfranchised 17-year-old girl and rape her. Meanwhile, you ignore that your president's name is all in the Epstein files, and he's wasting hundreds of millions of dollars to build a ballroom nobody wants. Meanwhile, you're ignoring that the director of the FBI, Kash Patel, is flying private dates around in his jet that's meant for the FBI director, wasting tens of millions of dollars. Meanwhile, you're ignoring the fact that Kristi Noem has two fucking jets as DHS secretary. The hundreds of millions of dollars that are being thrown away into the fucking incinerator with this corrupt ass regime, but your hypocritical ass is going after Jasmine Crockett for $75,000 that she was very, very public about spending, that she was very transparent about spending. Are you fucking serious? If you wanted to do some honest reporting on Jasmine Crockett, you could report about all of these checks that she personally handed out to churches while the government was shut down because of Republicans, and SNAP was cut off because of the president, and these churches were helping feed hungry people, so Jasmine Crockett donated money to them. You could also talk about how Jasmine Crockett had her staff buy lunch for TSA employees while she was traveling because the government was shut down and they weren't getting paid, but you won't honestly report on any of that, will you? The reason you do it is because your base loves to attack black women. It's better to attack a black woman than it is to hold white people accountable, especially rich white men. And the only reason you're doing it, let's be fucking for real, is because you know she has a very good chance of snatching that Senate seat from Ted Cruz, and I hope the fuck she does it.
I just wanted to let you know that the Senate just voted, and they voted down both bills, as we knew they would. So the ACA premium tax credit extensions failed, and Democrats refused to vote for Republicans' terrible HSA $1,000 plan that would have put everybody into catastrophic healthcare plans, basically. So that is where things stand. Mike Johnson apparently doesn't have any plan. They're arguing over what to do. Some of them want to extend the credits. Some of them want to do the HSA thing. Some of them don't want to do anything. There's a lot of infighting. Certain Republicans in the House understand that they're going to lose the 2026 elections over this, and certain don't care. I don't know. The long and the short of it is that we are going to have a real rough patch here with healthcare, and I'm sorry to everybody affected. Not that that helps anything, but I just want to say it because it's terrifying to not know how you're going to pay for your healthcare. I hope people will remember this. I hope people who have always voted Republican will stop for 1 second and look at what just happened here. They have thrown us to the wolves. They have thrown us to the wolves while simultaneously giving $170 billion to deport people who aren't hurting anybody. Paying for ballrooms, paying for Argentina, paying for Trump to play golf God knows where, paying for Kristi Noem's private jets, paying for Trump's private jet, which has to be refurbished at a cost of $1 billion, but they won't pay to keep us from medical bankruptcy. Please don't forget it. We haven't even gotten to the $1 trillion in Medicaid cuts because those don't hit until after the midterms. They are sending us into a healthcare apocalypse. Don't forget it. For once, if you vote Republican, think about putting yourself above this party that does not give a shit about you. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
Is a call to arms from our fellow craftsmen and women to go deeper and through our art to battle against fear, self-centeredness, and exclusivity of our predominantly narcissistic culture, and through our craft to cultivate a more empathetic and understanding society by revealing intimate truths that serve as a forceful reminder to folks that when they feel broken and afraid and tired, they are not alone. We are united in that we are all human beings and we are all together on this horrible, painful, joyous, exciting, and mysterious ride that is being alive. Now, as we act in the continuing narrative of Stranger Things, we 1983 Midwesterners will repel bullies. We will shelter freaks and outcasts, those who have no home. We will get past the lies. We will hunt monsters. And when we are at a loss amidst the hypocrisy and the casual violence of certain individuals and institutions, we will, as per Chief Jim Hopper, punch some people in the face when they seek to destroy the weak and the disenfranchised and the marginalized. And we will do it all with soul, with heart, and with joy. We thank you for this responsibility. Thank you.
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time, gonna be the time of your life. some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Are we coming through loud and clear? Let's see. Let's see how it comes through today. Testing, testing. I believe it is. All right. Awesome. All right, it's 9:26 a.m. in the Pacific time zone. For you people on the East Coast, just add 3. 3 plus 9:26 is 12:26. It's currently 54 degrees here. We have another warm day, 71 freaking ass degrees today, which I know is beautiful and wonderful, especially for you guys that are freezing your asses off. You would love 71 degrees, but I'm telling you, we're 15 degrees above normal, even for Las Vegas. We're 15 degrees above average for this time of year. I don't know if that means we're just going to have a late winter. Probably going to have a late winter, but also going to have a scorchingly fucking outrageously hot summer, probably. It gets worse every year, folks. I've been saying this for the last 3 years doing this live stream, and it gets worse every year. It gets hotter every year. Anyhow, thanks for being here, guys. Let me see. Go to the chat and say hello. I see Paul Burrows on the top of the list there. We got Jolie coming in. Hey, Jolie, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Sandy Foltz was in there. There's Paul Burrows. He lives at 2,600 feet in St. Maries, Idaho, and I have to pump my basement, freaking atmospheric river. I know. I saw some footage of the flooding up there in Washington there, and it's just, it's not good. They should be building a snowpack. But instead of snowing, it's raining. Not cold enough to snow. It's just raining and raining and raining and just flooding everything out. Yep. Climate change is real, my friends. Brooklyn SJU is here. Anna Moore is here. Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming in. Elizabeth Martinez is here. Buenos dias to Elizabeth. Thank you for being here. Brooklyn SJU is here. Brooklyn says, I'm still mourning Rob Reiner. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is still fresh. This is still, yeah, it's just, that was a tough one. Roxanne79 is here. Hello, Roxanne. Good to see you. Jolie says, Brooklyn, SJU. I'm absolutely devastated about Rob Reiner. I just can't wrap my head around it. Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, it just stays on your mind, and you're just like, why and how and what if? Obviously, they had a son whom they loved very much, who had serious drug addiction problems and serious, probably mental issues on top of that. And, we love our kids, and it's good to have unconditional love. I believe in that. But I also believe that You can coddle your kids to the point of becoming an enabler. I think they became enablers, and I probably shouldn't even be saying this because I'm not an expert, and I'm not, I'm just sort of talking out my ass right now. But it just seems like at some point, this guy was 32 years old, wasn't a little kid anymore. At some point, and I guess that maybe is what led to the argument that some people are saying that they were cutting him off finally, but maybe this is something that should have been done years ago. It's not like they didn't try, and I'm not saying like you give up, but still, I mean, I think that, like I say, at some point you become, instead of loving and caring, you just become enablers, and you just to their own peril, But who thinks that this was really going to happen? I mean, so that it would go this far. It's just so it's just terrible. It's tragic and it's horrible, and yeah, it's sad. So let's see. Roxanne says, I feel bad for the family. It's also tragic and traumatizing. Yeah. Roxanne says, I've been taking the morning off of politics and listening to a lot more music to balance the negative and the positive. It's helped. Been doing it for a couple weeks now, reclaiming my mornings. Absolutely. We got to do what we got to do. We got to take little breaks from the politics. Absolutely. And even just the general news in general, like the bad news, like the Rob Reiner thing really isn't political, even though Rob Reiner was an activist. And in my clips, you saw some of the stuff that he said. But this wasn't really a political thing. This was just a horrible, horrible event, a horrible tragedy, a horrible murder, double murder. But sometimes you just got to take a break from it, and do what you got to do to keep yourself from going off the deep end. Danny Pomeroy, hello everybody. Can I join in? Where's John taking a nap? I was not taking a nap. I don't take naps at 7 in the morning. I wake up at 7 in the morning. Yeah, I didn't have any breakfast. I just made some, because I was running late. I just made some coffee and some toast. That was, I guess that was my breakfast today. Coffee and toast. And I'm still drinking the coffee. Yeah, I take my naps in the afternoon, by the way. Oh yeah, Danny Pomeroy is out there doing the ice fishing. Susie Jones is here. Hey Susie, good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. The old driver's lounge. DPD 5844, this is so hard to watch. I hope they are at peace. Well, they are. That's the one thing about death. Puts you totally at peace. At least that's the way I believe. I don't believe in hell. I don't believe in heaven, really. I just believe that just you go into nothingness. No consciousness whatsoever. That's what I believe. Who else is here? William's here. Hey, William, good to see you. Paul Burrows is back. Chris Doug is here. Hey, Chris Doug. Thanks for coming on in. Coming on in to the driver's lounge. I'm just scrolling down here, looking at it. And everybody. Got 18 watching, only 15 thumbs up, so make sure you hit that thumbs up button for me if you would. MJ Daniel from up there in very wet, soggy Washington State. MJ says, well, it does not get creepier or scarier than MAGA and the GOP or Stranger. Could have been in reference to the Stranger Things cast accepting an award. That was from a few years ago. You could tell they all looked. If you saw that, they were so much younger. So DVD, I love him. I'm thinking you're talking about David Harbour, right? The guy from Stranger Things. WW says greetings in and out today. Troll Slayer, Kevin 007 Kevin. Zero 007 Kevin, Troll Slayer. Good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Brooklyn, pretty log cabin. Yeah, it's my little getaway. Susie Jones, I'm probably going to be lurking and listening because I'm not feeling well. Coffee isn't even working, and I'm on my third cup. Yeah, it's at this point. Yeah, it's not. The coffee ain't going to do nothing. Chris Doug, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. That's kind of warm compared to what it's been probably. Chris Doug, rain and 50 in New York City. Yeah, Roxanne says, I seen that Washington is flooding. Shaking my head. Did you see the replica Statue of Liberty fell in Brazil? I didn't see that. I did not see that. Wow. Huh. MJ Daniel says, we are lucky here in Olympia. We are in a place we have no flooding. Santa Dog, the big Santa Dog is here. He says, ho, ho, ho. Who you calling a ho, ho? Mr. Spock, live long and prosper. Let's see. Like one of these days I'll be able to do it. Anyhow, you know what I mean. Live long and prosper. MJ Daniel says, sounds as if he was so bad he should have been committed and safely locked up. Talking about, I guess, Nick Reiner. Jolie says, I know what it's like dealing with an addict. I dealt with my brother's addictions for 30 years before he OD'd. He lived with me on and off, or off and on, and for those years, it's frustrating and heartbreaking. It's just like you say. When they're addicted like that, and they're sort of in and out, or they're in recovery, and then they fall off the wagon, and it's just. It's like they're dragging you down with them, but you love them and you want to help them. It's a really tough spot to be in. But sometimes, it takes like tough love, Sometimes you gotta have that tough love. Like there's gotta be a line that they can't cross or something, Mr. Spock says it's the start of the 8 days of Festivus. There's Festivus for the rest of us. DPD, how do you go from drugs to cutting your parents' throat? This is sad, tragic. Yeah, well, there was more to it. I think also I've heard people describe who knew the family and who had been around Nick. They described him as being a sociopath. So it sounds like he had more problems than just drugs. I don't know if drugs can turn you into a sociopath, or if you're a sociopath who happens to be a drug addict. That's probably what it was. And it's weird. I keep hearing people say that they cut their throats, but I also heard reports that they were stabbed multiple times. Stabbing and slitting throat is two different things. So I'm just wondering. I shouldn't get graphic. I don't know, but like I guess maybe he did both. I guess I don't know, but who knows? But I guess I'm not sure if we should say until we get the coroner's report, as far as if it was stabbing or slitting of throats, or both. I think maybe I'm not talking about people in the chat, but I'm talking about people that we see on news reports and on shows that are talking about this and describing it, however they're describing it. Maybe we should get a little more confirmation on that, I think. But that'll all come out in the trial and everything. Yeah, DPD says Terry Geary passed away at age 78. Same age as Rob Reiner. He was also 78, by the way. And Rob Reiner, just a year younger, basically, than Trump. And Trump looks 88 to me. Rob Reiner looked like a really healthy 78-year-old, you know? Santa Dog says, I'm not here and you haven't seen me, if anyone asks. Susie Jones says, number 15 like. Thanks for the reminder. 25 watch and 21 thumbs ups. We still are operating at a deficit. Let's not be like scuzzy Republicans. Let's at least get to a balanced budget. Yeah, Roxanne says, we're at a deficit. Smash the like. Let's be good Democrats. Absolutely. Absolutely. Santa Dog says, everyone is a hoe in some way. Ho, ho, ho. Nola Carnes is here. Hey, Nola, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Bob Newell. Mr. Bob Newell. Can you hear me, Mr. Bob Newell? Can you hear me? Susie Jones says 28 in Boise. Sunny and winds at 17, gust up to 30. So hold on to your hat. You step outside. Gust of wind might come up. WW says he's on the phone with his sister. It's her birthday. Happy birthday to Wes's sister. Bob Ms. Rundle, I can't hear you. How's the coffee? It's all right. It's all right. That's not bad. Not bad. Susie Jones, I lost my husband to overdose 13 years ago. Sorry to hear that, Susie. Really hard. Sorry to hear that. It's must have been a lot that you had to go through. You went through, and he went through, and yeah. Addiction is it's a tough thing, and it's something that I don't know. It kind of gets overlooked as how important treatment is. Overall in our health care packages or our health. When we think about health care, a lot of times we just think about, of course, like diseases and illnesses and injuries and stuff like that. But it's important, addiction is an important part of should be an important part of our healthcare, treatment and therapy and all that kind of stuff. Comedy Mothership's here. Hey, Comedy Mothership, good to see you. It says, if all drugs were legal and enough time passed, would people start doing a greater variety of drugs, and would it possibly help? I don't know if all drugs should be legal. I think that there should be decriminalization for a lot of it. And I think we should, as I was just sort of stating, we should emphasize, rehab and drug treatment centers and things like that instead of prison. So many times, the right wingers, it's like, just, let's lock up the drug addicts, just lock them up. And that doesn't really help. I think our emphasis, we're placing the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. But I think decriminalization, and for a lot of it, some things should be legalized. I think pot should be legalized, which it pretty much is now. But and a lot of stuff should be decriminalized, and like I said, so people can get the help that they need instead of just being thrown in jail or in prison and have their lives ruined by that, and then just exacerbating the problem. Um, primitive. I always forget. Is that primitive icon or primitive elcon? Because it looks like an L to me. But and I know you have a different name that you go by, and I forget. But thank you for being here, primitive elcon icon. I don't know. Is that an I? Because it looks like an L. Thanks for being here, though, and sorry that I'm stupid. Company Mothership says, when you watch those old school military videos from World War II and Vietnam, the fellas say they don't do it like in the movies. Instead, you push it in the side behind the jugular. Oh, you're talking about okay, yeah, we don't need to go into details on that. Roxanne says Nick was definitely suffering from mental disorder. Brooklyn, Dick Van Dyke is a century. Yeah, he made it. Made it to the big 100. I know for a long, long time, until recently, as I've gotten older, and I'm like, I don't know if I don't think I can make it. But I always thought, well, I'm going to live to 100. I have a feeling now, if I do make it to 100, I will probably die the day I turn 100. I'll be like, okay, I made it. I can go now. Look at there, Santa Dog with a truckiversary. Happy truckiversary. Yippee, old Santa Dog, a.k.a. Damon Dog, the big dog. What a long, strange trip it's been. Oh, what a long, strange trip it's been. Thank you, Santa Dog. I appreciate your membership. Everyone, we have memberships. I appreciate it. Everyone, every single one of you really help keep the show going for starting at $1.99 a month. So thank you so much. If you want to, everyone consider being a member, that'd be great. DPD5844 says, I am encouraging everyone to call and voice your opinion to Miss Lindsey Graham about his asinine comments about President Obama and Biden. He blamed them for the shooting at Bondi Beach, this asshole. Did he really? Wasn't that in Australia? How the fuck is Obama and Biden responsible for a shooting in fucking Australia? Jesus Christ, what a stretch. New Good First is here. New Good First. I've seen those videos, comedy, and old the British guy. I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know. Mrs. Fox says education and an excellent social system for early life, unify Earth. This is much more. This and much more could be ours. That sounds like a Star Trek universe or something. I don't know. Rock says 79. I heard Dinky's being sued, and the discovery is his financial history. Follow the money. Landscapers are here today. Fortunately, I think the mic doesn't pick it up, but I can really hear it. They fired up the old leaf blower or something. It's always something, isn't it? It's always something. Hey, Michael McAndrews is here. Good to see Michael. Good. Thanks for coming on in, hanging out with us. Michael says, tried to open the Jack Daniels. It had a weird lock cap. Screwdriver almost went through my hand. Dang it. See, drinking is dangerous. Be careful with these newfangled bottles. I haven't opened a bottle of Jack Daniels or had a bottle of Jack Daniels around in so long. Whenever I did, it must have been just the old school screw off cap or whatever, I guess, right? Can you guys hear the leaf blower? Let me know if you can hear the leaf blower because it's coming through loud and clear. Paul Burrows, we are all just dust in the wind. Kansas just played here last week during Cowboy Christmas. They were one of the bands, I believe, that came out because they had after parties and stuff for that rodeo. And I think I saw a sign for Kansas playing out there. .007 Kevin Troll Slayer says scary thing will be is when Nick finds out. Can I call my dad? You killed him. I what? Do you think he's that out of it? Like he didn't like is that, or is that going to be his? That might be his defense. I don't know. Do you think he was in some sort of stupor, drug-induced stupor, that he doesn't even remember what happened? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about him other than that first they were questioning him. He was like a person of interest or whatever, and then I guess it was yesterday or sometime they I guess arrested him. Other than that, I haven't really heard anything about Nick, about what what he said, or and all that. They're not going to really say. I mean, but yeah, company membership, they really need free and quality mental health treatment. It should be just as important part of our our health care. Should be our mental health should be just as important as our physical health, right? I think. So primitive Elcon, TJ, you always say that silly. It's an I as an I. Oh, so it's a capital I. Okay. Haha. You can call me Robin, laughing out loud. Hey, they're my favorite Jolie. Moi. Yeah, that's right. You're Robin, like Robin M, I think, right? I got to remember that primitive icon because it doesn't. Elcon doesn't make sense. I should just go with what makes sense. But you know me, I don't always do what's the most sensible thing, I guess. Company Mothership says, I know it sounds stupid, but I really think legal opium and stuff like coca leaves would help with addiction issues. That's way out of my purview. I don't know. I don't know anything about that stuff. But again, I think we need to take these things and out of the criminal courts or whatever and make it a health issue for the most part. I mean, yeah, I mean it's criminal to if you're a big trafficker, um, things like that, but. DPD says in Amsterdam and magic mushrooms are legal. However, ecstasy, cocaine, and heroin are not. They, I guess, have close to 300 overdoses a year. And I'm trying to think, like, I guess for a country the size of Amsterdam, that's probably a lot. I guess, right? I don't know what the population is. If we only had 3,000 ODs like here in America, that would probably be a very small number. But in Amsterdam, that might be a huge number. I don't know. Ah, Aaron West is here, and she's letting us know we're at full mod capacity. Full mod capacity. Full mod capacity. WW says no THC for me yet. I have to take my car to the shop. Yeah, don't take the THC until after you get back home. Susie Jones says I never thought I'd make it to 63 yet. Here I am. Here I am, bunch over, like a 90-year-old. Oh, like hunched over, like a 90-year-old granny. Body is old. I highly doubt I'll make it to 80. Well, hey, you never know. Susie Jones, you never know. You might make it to 80. Come on now. You know, I'm at the point where I'm not going to worry about it. When when you go, you go. If I live to 80, fine. If I live to 85, fine. If I live to 90, fine. If I only live to, well, I hope I make it past 66. But I mean, I guess there's certain things you just are out of your control for the most part. I mean, certainly diet and exercise and lifestyle can make a difference. Certainly can increase your odds or better your odds and all that kind of stuff. But still, you just never know. So I don't worry about it, and when it happens, it happens. Because we all go sometime. We all got to go sometime. Santa Dog, Leaf Blower Tuesday. Also, Company Mothership says a lot of right wingers are essentially bragging that the shooting in Australia proves gun control doesn't work, ignoring the fact it's like 10,000 to 1 between the U.S. and Australia. Yeah, any right winger who is saying that is really, really stupid and disingenuous, which is just another way of saying they're liars. Yeah, but you look at the overall numbers. No one's ever said that gun control was going to eliminate 100% of gun violence or gun deaths, gun or shootings. No one, right? Have you ever heard anyone say that it would take away 100% of those things? No, it says we're saying that it will drastically reduce the numbers. That's all. And then that's good enough for me, Susie Jones says the lawsuit stopping the ballroom also says he has to say where the money came from and where it's at, who gave it to him, and has to stop until further evaluations and public can have input on it. Well, I think I didn't hear the details, but I think now I do remember someone suing him over that. And I think that's a good thing. Yeah, like you say, follow the money. Company Mothership says I can't hear it at all. Your mic is blocking it out well. Yeah, this little like $3 mic or whatever it was from Temu that you guys hate, does a pretty good job. It's just the little clip broke on it. That's why I had to turn it into a chopstick microphone. Other than that, it's fine. Brooklyn SJU says I have a dilemma. My cat has another lump where the other one was. I don't have $1,000 to remove it. She already has terminal cancer that they found last year. It's sad, when our pets get sick and they have things like that. But if she already has terminal cancer, then just try to make her as comfortable as you can for as long as you can. And, I wouldn't put another $1,000 in the treatment or to whatever, to remove something. The cat's got terminal cancer anyhow. I know I sound probably cold and mean, but, I love pets too. But, there's only so much you can do, So Michael can't hear it. So none of you guys can hear that. That's good. You can't hear the leaf blower, but I'm just always wondering because it is so loud. And he's gone now. He looks like he went around the corner or something. Oh wait, Primitive Icon says yes. Sounds like a leaf blower. So wow. Either you guys had bad ears or Primitive Icon has very good ears. I don't know. And Comedy Mothership said I heard it for a second. The mic system is blocking it out. Well, so I guess for a second, Santa Dog for a second. So I guess it's like a second, and then it takes a second for the noise canceling thing to kick in or something. Maybe. TPD 5844 says I guess war is imminent in Venezuela come December 19th, 2025, just in time for the release of the Epstein files. Yeah, see, I've told you guys, this is all a wag the dog thing. To distract from the fucking Epstein files. This motherfucker, Donald Trump, is willing to start a war, kill a bunch of people, all to distract from the Epstein files. That's how sick and demented and talk about sociopath. This is how sociopathic Donald Trump is. Doesn't give a fuck about anyone's life but his own. WW with a $2.22 super chat. Thank you, WW. Yippee. Going out to you. It says poor Uncle Joe, 2024 Dims did everything wrong. Yeah, because he got old and sick. Just for that, no thumbs up for you and no heart. Hindsight's 2020. I think Joe Biden ran for re-election because at the time, I think he felt good. He felt healthy. And I think the Democratic establishment wanted him to run again, and because they felt that he seemed fine. He took a sudden turn for the worst during that campaign. And hey, it happens. Hindsight's 2020. Yeah, maybe we can all look back and go, he should have never ran for re-election. But he did. And I should have known, though, that the American people were stupid enough to vote for this convicted felon that we have now, this rapist that we have now in the White House. Just based on a lot of my passengers that I had, and I was doing rideshare then. I had several people that said that they didn't like Kamala Harris. They liked Trump. They couldn't understand how I was against Trump. They couldn't fathom that. I couldn't fathom how they could be for Trump. And I had way more people that whenever I did get, I don't talk politics in the car, in the cab, or the ride share, unless the rider brings it up and they want to talk about it. Then I'll say okay. And so in those conversations that I had, it was almost seemed like the majority of people were like Trump supporters. And I just thought that was an aberration or something. I mean, I really did think that Kamala Harris was going to win. Much to my shock and dismay, you stupid fuckers, not you guys in the chat because I know most of you didn't, but and W has said that he voted for Kamala, I guess, right? So I'm not talking to W, but I'm talking about the American people, the 75 million or whatever it was that voted for Trump, 77 million. Man, you're a bunch of stupid motherfuckers, aren't you? And I guess maybe W's point is to just sit here and call them all stupid. Maybe that doesn't help. Doesn't solve the problem. But to look back using hindsight and saying that the Dems did everything wrong, I don't think they did everything wrong. And I think Kamala Harris did the best she could under such a short time that she had. And we can look back and say, yeah, she made a couple of mistakes. And she did. But that's life. We don't always make the best decisions, and we can always look back and say, yeah, I should have done this, I should have done that. So instead of beating yourself up about it, you need to just learn from those mistakes and do better the next time. And I'm hoping that the Democrats will do better next time. Now, I know we kind of have a built-in, or it's kind of built in where the Democrats are going to do well in these midterm congressional elections coming up next November. So we're going to see a lot of Democrats win, and it might not be because they learned a lesson in anything. It's just going to be because it's kind of baked in right now with how bad Trump is and how there is a history of Congress, swinging back and forth and everything. So there is a danger of the Democrats not learning a lesson from 2024 and just riding this blue wave that's going to happen and then mistaking that for thinking that they did everything right, when really it was just, like I say, it's kind of baked in because Trump is so horrible There's going to be big, huge wins for the Democrats. And they should not mistake that for being something like because they're so great at whatever they did. And I'm saying this as a Democrat. So, but I think there's a lot of great candidates, and there's going to be a lot of candidates that are going to win because they're doing the right things. They're campaigning on the right things. But I guess my point is just because a Democrat wins in 2026 doesn't really mean that they learn the lessons of 2024 or whatever. You know what I mean? But there's going to be a big, huge wave. And I guess other point is, if we want to maintain that, then we better learn to progress. I'm not saying that we have to be progressives, but we need to progress. And I think we need to see more new blood, young blood, and Pelosi stepping down. We need to see some of the older ones step aside and let the newer generations start running the party, I think. And I would really like to see Democratic majorities and Democrats in the White House, like I've said, for the next 50 years, instead of this back and forth thing that we keep doing. And to do that, we need to learn lessons. We can't just ride the wave, you know? So let me just skip down in the chat a little bit. Christina Weibel's here. Hey, Christina, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in to the driver's lounge. Yeah, DPD 5844's The Son and Rob made a film about his drug problems 10 years ago. The Son's bail has been set at $4 million. Yeah, I think I maybe remember hearing about that movie. I've heard about, since the murders. For sure. I've seen little clips that popped up. And it looked kind of familiar. Like I think I may have heard of it when it came out. Apparently, the son, I guess, are we not saying his name? But I think wrote the screenplay, I think. And then Rob Reiner, the father, directed, maybe produced, probably, I don't know. But it dealt with, it was a fictionalized story. It was all fiction. It wasn't based on really their lives. It was a fictionalized story about a son who has serious drug issues, drug addiction, and his father, who in that story from the clips I saw, his father was a politician. Instead of being an actor like Rob, the story was about his father being a politician, and you can see the sort of the dynamic there of the son feeling like maybe left out, and that his father was more concerned about his constituents than he was his own son. And maybe that was how he felt about. Maybe that's how the son felt about his father, Rob. Maybe he felt that his father cared more about his movies or cared about his his political kind of crusades that they went on, him and his mother, the mother, the wife, the mother. Anyhow, even though the guy, he's a man, had serious drug problems and mental health problems. I have no sympathy for him, and at the very least, he should be locked up for the rest of his life. Um, and because I mean, he's definitely crossed the line. So good. First, I can't get over Rob Reiner, and then I feel bad because so many people get killed, and I ignore most of it. Well, that that is a phenomena. Like when celebrities die, how much attention that gets, and then yet people all around us are dying and they get no attention. But that's just it's because that person, that famous person, there's this like a shared grief, and the strangers that we don't know. I mean, you can't blame yourself for not knowing that person. Jolie says we need to stop using gels for people with mental health problems. I agree. Except in this case now with the son. I mean, he's committed murder, double murder. What do they call it? Patricide or whatever when you kill your parents. He should be in some sort of facility, whether it's a prison or a mental. Well, I mean, I would consider him a danger for the rest of his life. In other words, let's say if I was in a mental health facility, I would not want to be in the same mental health facility as that motherfucker. Um, so he needs to be locked up for the rest of his stinking life, and then he can just ponder what he did. And he's only 32. He might live another 60 years. Let him ponder what he did for 60 more fucking years. Feel shitty about it the whole time. But in lockup, where he can't be a danger to others, or as little as possible. DPD 5844 says the population of Amsterdam is approximately 934,000. It's a beautiful country. Well, I remember when I was a teenager, high schooler. Everyone talked about Amsterdam because of the drugs and the red light district or whatever, and so it was always like, "Yeah, man, I want to go to Amsterdam, man. That'd be a cool place, party, go get some hookers or whatever." I don't know, but they're in windows. They're in a window, and you look at them. That's basically my perception of Amsterdam. And I've seen pictures, and it looks very pretty. They have canals. They have pretty canals, little boats in them. Looks very pretty. I think there's windmills involved also somewhere. I'm sure it's a very beautiful place. Jolie says, "Yep, Synagogue police aren't mental health professionals, and we need to stop relying on them for what are clearly mental health problems. We need more social workers." And of course, WW says social workers are already spread so thin, their workloads are impossible, and most people don't want the jobs. That's because we don't make that an emphasis of an area that we need to address. That's what I'm saying. This needs to be emphasized. Emphasized. Santa Dog says you'd be surprised how many of his life problems can be solved with chopsticks. No, Carnes, I like Timu. I get lots of stuff. Once in a while, I get something goofy, but they reimburse me, but only once a month or a month. Um, Mr. Spock says, what would Magyar do? I don't know who Magyar is. Is that some Star Trek thing? Is that a Star Trek thing? Susie Jones, he hasn't asked Congress to declare war. He can't do it without them on that matter. He can't legally do it, but it seems like he does stuff anyhow. So I don't know. Michael McAndrews says Trumpy is a criminal. Exactly. Yeah, Roxanne79 says Susie Dinky is skipping over Congress and straight to Keg's breath. Christina Weibel, all caps. Biden should have made Kamala Harris president for the last year of his presidency. Again, hindsight. In hindsight, maybe so. But during the real time of it, in real time, Biden seemed fine, at least to me, all the way up until that fucking debate. And it was like, oh shit. Things aren't right. So I don't know. Yeah, woulda, shoulda, coulda. Like I said, hindsight's 2020. WW, they should have let him run. He would have won. He could resign later, and Kamala would have been POTUS. Again, hindsight 2020. We know, we know all the answers. When you look back, you can score 100% on the test because you already know the answers. You guys are cheating. But like I said, hopefully these type of things will carry to the next thing, and it's experience that we build on and increase our knowledge. So maybe we'll do better next time. But yeah, woulda, shoulda, couldas. My life is full of woulda, shoulda, couldas, and I'm sure a lot of you too. We have a lot of woulda, shoulda, couldas. DPD 5844 says, Susie, what Congress, I think there's supposed to be a question about me, or the orange pedophile does not care. Everything he has done needed to be approved by Congress, and yet here we are. Yep. He is acting unlawfully. We have an unlawful White House. Christina Weibel, I would never vote for a rapist. I vote a rapist into the White House no matter what. Yeah, and about 75 million of us probably agreed with you on that, I guess. 70-something million. Christine 16's here. Hey, Christine. Hindsight is 2020. That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying. And, instead of just blaming, I hope we are learning. You use it as a learning experience, not as an excuse to blame. Time to pass the torch, says Christine 16. DPD 5844, I don't know what happened. I tried to delete my comment because I was typing so fast. I left out words, but I could not rewrite it. It's all right. I think most of us sort of understand typo now because we all do it. WW says Bannon would be trying to cover up association guilt regarding Epstein. Would be or should be. WW says Bannon is the one who convinced Trump to run. Maybe he was trying to get him to encourage Trump. Maybe. Maybe, baby. I don't know. William says, I watched the Spinal Tap sequel on HBO last night. Not as good as the original, but still funny. A lot of great cameos. I never did see that. I haven't seen the sequel. I heard it wasn't very good. Jolie says, there's a quotation, someone quotes here, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included, end quote, Steve Bannon. Just openly admitted they're all criminals and people still support them. Now, Steve Bannon might say, here's what he might say. He might say, I'm not saying that we committed any crimes or that I committed any crimes. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the Democrats are going to weaponize the DOJ and they're going to come after their political enemies. They're going to use the justice system to come after us, even though we didn't do anything. That's what he's probably that's probably what he would say, right? Anna Moore says, so sorry to hear about Rob Reiner and his wife. There was so much life left in them. Yeah. I didn't watch Stranger Things yet. They episode 4 or whatever. Is that where it's at? I saw the first batch that I thought it was 4. So I thought it was up to 4. And then yeah, so the next batch, has it come out yet? Maybe it hasn't come out yet, right? And a more reporter said that Rob Reiner's son was homeless. He's been homeless during his times of addiction. I don't believe he was homeless at the time that this happened. I believe he was living on their property. I think they had a guest house on the property that he was living in. He has been homeless because of his addiction and being out on the streets and just doing some shit. But he hasn't been homeless this whole time. There's just been some periods of time where he was homeless. But I do believe that he's been living at his parents' home for quite a while now. And I think he had a guest house. And the story is that they were at a Conan O'Brien party the night before this happened, where they got into a big shouting match, and people are speculating that it was about they had enough and that they were going to cut him off because they had been paying all his bills. They'd been supporting him financially. He'd been living with them, and then this happens. So Christine, that's why I don't believe in the death penalty. Right, I was talking about he should just sit in his whether it's a padded cell or a cinder block cell for the rest of his miserable fucking life, and he can get drug rehab inside or whatever they want to do, and he can work on all that shit. Fine, I don't have a problem with that. get him clean, get him sober, get him, he can read books and he can read fucking books on meditation or whatever he wants to do. But for the rest of his fucking miserable fucking piece of shit life, he can sit in that cell and he can feel like shit for killing his parents for the rest of his fucking miserable life. And that's why I hope it would be a long one so that he just feels like shit for 60 more years. But he's a sociopath. If he really, now I don't know, he might not be a sociopath, but people have described him as being that. If he is a sociopath, then he shouldn't, he doesn't give a fuck. He'll sit there for 60 years and not give a fuck. So, but still, he needs to be out of the public domain or whatever, because he's an unstable person who obviously could murder someone for just because he doesn't want to be kicked out on the street. DPD 5844 says Malcolm Nance said he had conversations with Rob about his son's drug abuse. Rob was asking his advice on what to do. Stephanie Miller said both kids were lovely, but she never met his daughter with Penny Marshall. Exactly, yeah, that's all true, what you just said. She was talking about, she never met the stepdaughter or adopted daughter from Penny Marshall, but Rob and Michelle had three children together. Nick, Romy, and I forget the other one's name. And apparently, Romy and the one that I forget the name of were turned out to be pretty good kids. And then the third one there, Nick, not so much. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but when the third one murders you, I should not make jokes. Roxanne is just giving us all the lyrics of all the music she's been listening to lately. I see. Very good musical choices there. Hendrix and Soundgarden or whatever it was. And, I've been seeing them. The Stones, yeah. A good go-to. Sandy Foltz, I'm at the hospital getting blood work done. Hello, Sandy. Thanks for being here, and I hope you're doing well in the hospital. I hope you get a good blood work report. Hope everything's okay with you. DBD54 says Magnar is a Norwegian name for strength. Christine 16, in hindsight, he shouldn't have ran again. Like I said, yeah, that's hindsight. It's kind of a moot point at this point, right? It's a moot point. Because there's not really much to learn from that, other than if there's ever another situation where we have an 80-year-old president, then we should be very careful about that president's health and whether he should run for re-election. But it's kind of a moot point overall, I think, at this point. Senator Dog, I miss vinyl flooring. WW is so much easier to keep clean. White grout was a dumb decision too. Roxanne 79 TJ, this song's for you. ZZ Top, Have Mercy. Been waiting for the bus all day. I got my paper bag and my take-home pay. Have mercy. Have mercy. I remember that song. Christine 16, we've come full circle back to We the Fucking People. Sandy Foltz with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Sandy. Yippee, going out to you. And I really hope you're doing okay with the blood work and that everything will be all right with you. Christine 16, Typo Tuesday. Senator Dog, coffee with Nestle Quick, poor man's Dunkin' Latte? Is that something that Dunkin' Donuts makes? Dunkin' Latte? Aaron West, Christmas Day for Stranger Things. Oh, okay. Something to look forward to on Christmas Day. I won't have any presents under the tree because I don't have a tree or a chimney for Santa to come down. Well, although it looks like I do, huh? It's just a fake background. But I will have Stranger Things to watch. So have mercy. Santa Dog says it takes a year or more for the brain chemistry to go back to normal. I know this as a former crack addict that tried to kill myself and got committed to the VA psych ward for 3 months. Well, Santa Dog, it seems like you're doing much better. I'm glad to hear that. That's all that you're a former, and keep at it in your recovery. Santa Dog, that might be too much personal. No, I mean it's up to you how much you want to share. It's completely up to you. You know, and I'm sure everyone in the chat, we still love you, and we still want the best for you, and we're happy that it seems like you're in a good place right now. Like you got your trike, your new truck, and your chewy box for your dogs. So clean floors with dirty grout, but or tough to clean grout. Those are problems that are much better to deal with than a crack addiction. So we're glad that you're doing much better. Yeah, Jolie says, so glad you came out on the other side of it, Santa Dog. So John Glad's here. Glad to see John Glad. Thanks for coming on in. I look over, I see we got 36 watching and 36 thumbs up. We are at a balanced budget. You guys are acting like some good Democrats today. I appreciate that. Mr. Spock, is it racist to use that Christmas song sung by a Pakistani in a video? I have no idea what you're talking about, so I guess I can't really comment. Santa Dog says, after 3 months, I had outpatient meetings 3 days a week with drug testing for 6 months. I like to say the VA not only saved my life, but they gave me a life worth saving. Wow, nice. And I agree. I agree. You definitely are a life worth saving. There's Damon Dog, Santa Dog. So I agree. That sentiment. I agree with that sentiment. Christine 16, I found out last night that all of my neighbors are scared of me. Good for them. What have you done, Christine, to scare your neighbors? Damon Dog, Santa Dog says, I'm living my best life. So thankful. There you go. And so you got, like Jolie said, you got out on the other side of it, and you're living your best life. That's inspirational, actually. I think it's a good success story, and I think we need to hear that more often about people, conquering these issues, especially drug issues, drug and alcohol, and conquering the issue and coming out better on the other end of it, as Jolie says, and now reaping the benefits of having you're living your best life. I mean, that's really that's awesome and inspirational. Christine, just being me, so just being you. I wonder if I would want to be your neighbor. Mrs. Spock says I learned how to make crack from a news show in the late 80s. It's easy. Wow. Christine 16 says they also know I'm a satanic witch. So there's that. And a lot of cats have been missing in the neighborhood. No, I'm just kidding. I know that's a horrible thing as a misnomer. Witches get accused of killing cats, I guess. I don't know. I should not have said that. I apologize. I should not have even suggested such a horrible thing. I have caught up to the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, I have caught up to the chat. Christine 16, yeah, they all eat outside my house. They're all there because they're like, this lady's cool. She's got good stuff to eat. Christine, they follow me wherever I go. The cats do? The cats follow you? Roxanne, I guess some more song lyrics coming at us from Prince. All right, so I'm caught up. So what else? What's going on? On my TV, I've got something from Fox News with Jonathan Turley, Fox News contributor. I guess they're talking about Trump teases a third term. Oh, this is a Daily Show. This is from the Daily Show. So God knows how old it is because it starts just playing old shows. This is from 8 months ago. 8 months ago, he was teasing a third term. He still teases the third term. That could have been from today. Let's see what's on right now that's newer than 8 months. Tom Hartman's on. Tom Hartman. We've got the damage report with what's his face. Trump doubles down on worst post ever. Graham makes a fool of himself. So they're talking about, yeah, that fucking post. Donald Trump is such a vile, disgusting human being that he can't even be decent for 2 seconds. In the aftermath and hearing the news of Rob Reiner and his wife being murdered, he couldn't just offer his condolences and just say, how his heart goes out to his family, and just be like a human being. But see, that's the thing. Trump is another sociopath. He doesn't know how to feel empathy. He only does what he thinks people are supposed to react. But then he also has to take the time to make it about him. It's just disgusting. It's totally disgusting. Donald Trump, what he said. Hey, Robert Perez is here. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Says I'm currently getting drained of my blood plasma at the moment, but still listening. Oh, take care with that. Getting your blood taken out there, or your plasma. I mean, Christine 16. I have 2 black cats of my own, Lilith and Lucifer. There you go. Mr. Spock, auto auctions. What about auto auctions? What about auto? Oh, on the TV, like I could watch because sometimes that's on there. I think that's what you're talking about. Nola Karn says, my neighbors are all great except the one on the other side of the drive yelled at me for feeding a deaf white cat. Used to give him coffee, dinner, etc. Not the cat, I think, but the neighbor. I told him to get the F out of my yard. Why would someone yell at you for feeding a cat? Whether they're deaf or not. Like, you can only feed the hearing cats, not the deaf cats. Well, I don't. Yeah, I would tell them to get the fuck off my yard too. And there's Jolie reminding us about memberships and super chats and buy me a coffee, and you can PayPal to help support the show. I do appreciate any support that we get. Get the show going. Keep us on the air. Chris Doug Trump third term. You know. Yeah, it's like, is he going to even make it through the second term? DPD 5844, Europe is done with the orange pedophile, as they should be. And we should be too. We should be done with him. Christine 16, maybe the inverted cross wind chime outside has something to do with it. Making friends. Roxanne 79 says, total lack of empathy and compassion, completely bankrupt of decency. Susie Jones, I've come to expect the worst of Dinky Two Dolls, McCankle's pussy grabber, Taco Tits. He's always been a piece of shit. He won't ever change. And who was it that was saying, when the day finally comes, when Trump leaves this earth, and I'm not talking about a UFO or something, it's not going to be a day of sadness. People are going to be happy. He's just like Scrooge. If Scrooge hadn't, gotten the visit by the three ghosts and changed his ways, he saw how people reacted to the news of his death, Scrooge, and they were happy. They were like, and he couldn't believe it. That was one of the things that kind of turned around. But he couldn't believe how happy people were, and that's what's going to happen to Trump when he croaks. It will be a day of joy. You've got to be a pretty fucking big piece of shit for that to happen. Because usually, even when someone dies and they're an asshole, I mean, it might not have any great effect on you, but you don't really jump up and down for joy about it, And I think that when Trump croaks, a lot of people are going to be jumping up and down for joy, or with joy or for joy, either way. And that says a lot about, the character of this man, or lack thereof. Hey, Brooklyn, thank you for the $1.49 super sticker. Yippee. With the black cat there. Appreciate you. Oh, yeah, was your black cat? Oh, yeah, it was Onyx. In honor of Onyx. I'm going to say that was in honor of Onyx. $1.49 super chat, or super sticker, actually. Thank you, Brooklyn SJU. Thank you very much. Santa Dog says, I used to think one of my cats was deaf. Turns out he's just an asshole and doesn't give a shit about anything I say. That's hilarious, Santa Dog. Yeah, that was so funny. He wasn't deaf. He just didn't pay you no attention. Nola Karn says he was pissed because he thought the raccoons would come, but I feed them too. Oh, like because you were putting food out for the cats that was drawing the raccoons and shit. Yeah, fuck him. Christine 16 says, I also learned that one of my neighbors wants to steal my third cat, Dolly. I would strongly advise against that. DPD 5844 says, my husband and I were talking about the orange pedophile, and I said, I saw him laying in the street bleeding, begging for help. If I saw him That's an important word I left out. If I saw him laying in the street, bleeding, begging for help, I would walk on by. I'm being completely honest. I've said the same thing. I wouldn't pee on him if he was on fire. One, because he probably likes to be peed on, and I don't want to do something he likes. And number two, because I don't want to put out the fire. Mr. Spock says only 8.65 Scaramucci's. Hey, but we got 31 watching, 40 thumbs ups. Thanks, guys. We're like super Democrats now, at a big surplus. Christine 16 says neither me nor my kids have shed a tear since Gary, my late husband, died. Roxanne 79 says true, like Scrooge, except he gets no ghost, just eternity in the void, the abyss. The abyss. Oh, maybe I misread because Roxanne says Onyx was my cat. Yours too. And then Brooke says no. Mine was Miss Thing. Oh, I guess I don't know. I got confused. I guess I think I misread it or I did something. Alvin Stube late again. That's all right. Better late than never. Like my daddy used to always say, better late than never. Except he didn't say it with a weird kind of twanging accent. I don't know why. My dad didn't talk that way. Roxanne said, Brooklyn this year, that's what TJ meant to say Miss Thang. That's a fitting name, I'm sure. Yeah, I should have said Miss Thang. DPD 5844 says, and try cucumber water, TJ, and slice them up. Let them sit and drink. It's delicious and it's healthy. Was that part of another thread? Or did I miss the other part? I must have missed. I saw the thing about you not helping Trump. How is this cucumber thing? It sounds like that is a second part of some sort of preparation of some type of thing. I don't know. I'm missing it. I don't see it. Mr. Spock says I say bedtime to old Hector, and he stops doing what he's doing, immediately follows me upstairs to get his belly rose. Aw. That's nice. Christine, I also have two hellhounds, Lexi and Belladonna. Roxanne79 says, TJ, you should play that ZZ Top song on the bus. Just jam out, make it a fun ride. All right, I might do that. I just might do that. Something needs to be done to make it a fun ride. Trump suing BBC for $10 million in defamation lawsuit. Or defamation damages. So, you know what, Trump? Sue. I don't give a fuck. You're a disgusting piece of shit, Donald Trump. It's like, if you were going to do like a Grinch parody with Trump, I guess it would be, you're a vile one, Mr. Trump. You're disgusting, you stink, and you're full of shit. I don't know. Mr. Trump. Roxanne79 says, thanks y'all for putting up with my singing. I'm having fun. I got to go for now. I'll see you at these YouTube streets. All right, Roxanne, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. And yeah, listen to the music. Music, it helps. It can help lift your soul and your spirits and all that good stuff. So yeah, take a break and listen to some music. Christine16 says, I'm invited to a neighbor's gathering tonight. I can't bring any animals. I'm going to have to sneak out so that Lucifer doesn't follow me. They're going to be mad when you get back. They're going to be like, you know, when you come in, they're going to be just sitting there going, well, why didn't you bring us? What do you think you're doing? You can just go out without us? That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to be like. Senator Dog says every time Trump sues someone, he opens himself up to discovery. Mr. Spock, TFS, Trump fatigue syndrome. We have the Trump fatigue syndrome. Yes, I believe you're suffering from this thing. It's called TFS, Trump fatigue syndrome. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. DPD 5844 says, I wanted to adopt a Maine Coon kitty. What the heck is a Maine Coon kitty? But my husband says they scare him, laughing out loud. So now I get to enjoy my sister's Maine Coon kitty. They are such beautiful and majestic creatures. Is it a cat or a raccoon? Or a hybrid? I don't know. What is it? Jolie, where the hell have you been? Look. Right. Christine16 says, Lucifer Morningstar will be looking out the window and Belladonna will be crying the whole time. Yeah, I'll get mauled when I get home. Oh, boy. Mr. Spock says they are monster-sized cats. Maine Coon kitty. Brooklyn says, big cat. A Maine Coon kitty. Hell, you might as well just get a freaking tiger. They should make I don't know, device or something where because aren't like little tiger cubs or little lion cubs, aren't they the fucking cutest little things? But then, they grow up and they would eat you. Wouldn't it be cool if you could just make it where they just always stay little cubs or whatever they're called? Kittens, cubs, babies. And then that way they would always be cute and roly-poly and they would never grow up to eat you. Wouldn't that be cool? I guess that's what a cat is. I guess that's what. So yeah, what am I thinking? We already have cats. We don't need a device, John. We don't need some wacky fucking device to make a lion cub a cub forever. Are they called cubs? Or a lion cub baby. We have cats for that. What am I thinking? Susie Jones, I got company. See y'all later. Okay, see you later, Susie. Thanks for being here. Noodle Carnes, I want a wolf kitty. Tigers, I'll take 2, says Senator. I don't want them when they're big because they'll kill you. Sandy Fultz, I'm home. I am glad you made it home. Glad you made it home okay. Hope you're feeling well. Mr. Spock says old Hector is big. I think he has some Maine Coon in him. Christine16 says I should note that Belladonna is just a puppy, 9 months old and 22 inches at the shoulder. I think that's about that big. Maybe that big. I had to move the cat condo to keep her from going through a 2-story window that's 3.5 feet off the floor. Wow. Sandy Foltz says, "Oh, meathead on Archie Bunker. Are you watching the intro right now, Sandy? Is that what you're doing? I think Sandy might be watching the intro. I don't know. She's a Labra Dane. Oh, that's right. I think I remember you saying that. Yeah, before. So Labrador Great Dane. Wow. Wow. Gonna be a big one. DPD 5840. It's a cat, TJ. They can weigh around 30 pounds. For males, approximately 40 inches long. The females are smaller, though. What do you guys think about those little electronic dogs? Do those pop up on your? You know how you get these advertisements and stuff. I just saw one. I forget if it was on Facebook or Instagram. Somewhere it popped up, and at first I thought it was a real little puppy. It's like it looked like the cutest little puppy, but then it was just some fake little robot thing. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I could get into having a. I mean, it'd be nice because you don't really have to clean up after it or whatever. And I guess it doesn't shed. I hate shedding. Um, but I don't know if I could like really ever like love a machine, a robot dog or whatever. Have you guys seen those advertisements? Let's see. Brooklyn says, TJ, how many cups of coffee do you have? I have one, and I just finished it. I have 1 cup a day, and that's it. That's all I need. Torvy Cat. Hey, Torvy Cat. This brought out Torvy Cat. Says, robot puppy is a scam. I thought that too, because it looked like a real puppy, but I was like, I wonder if it really looks like that in real life. You know. William says Carol O'Connor was more of a liberal than Rob Reiner. Yeah, I think you said that yesterday. Funny how some people just recycle their old posts. But it's probably worth saying, I guess, over again. So we know Carol O'Connor was very liberal. Okay. It's AI, Brooklyn says. Okay. You saw the one, right? So it's white. It kind of looks like I don't know, what is that? A Yorkie or something? I don't know. Oh, look who's on. Look who's on. Is that why everyone left? Anyhow, I should probably get going pretty soon, so that I can get going, get ready, and I should probably get over to work. I got to get my 45 rides per week. So, and I haven't done any yet this week. That's my goal: 45 rides a week. DPD says yes, I do, and it's ridiculous. TJ, a robot puppy, it's a scam. Brooklyn says Boston. yeah, Boston's on. Just starting, so maybe in a few minutes you guys can go raid them. Just stay with me for a few minutes, and then you guys can go raid over there. Jolie says I watched a YouTube video last night of someone unboxing TikTok and Temu items, showing the pics of the ads and what you actually get. Weirdly entertaining. Yeah. DBD says keep going. Well, I like I said, I do need to get going. and get ready for work and go to work. And I want to get there earlier. The earlier, the better, because, like I said, otherwise I end up working late, and then I don't get home till 3:30 in the morning, sometimes later. So the earlier start I can get, the better. So that way I can get my rides in, get my hours in and my rides in, and I can get back at a decent hour. You know, instead of 3 or 4 in the morning, I can get home at 1 or 2 in the morning. You know, so I guess we'll call it a day here. Christine says, "Stay safe." Thank you, Christine. You too. Stay safe with all those mean neighbors out there. You know, try not to piss them off too much, maybe. Anyhow, thanks guys for being here. I do appreciate you. Just a quick thank you to Santa Dog for 13 months. Happy truck anniversary to Santa Dog for being a member. Thank you, WW, for a 222 super chat. Thanks, WW. Yippee. And Sandy Foltz with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Sandy. Yippee to Sandy Foltz. And Brooklyn SJU with a $1.49 super sticker. Yippee. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you guys. Thanks, everyone, for all the thumbs ups and commenting and sharing and liking and subscribing and all that good stuff. I'm pretty sure just about everybody on here has subscribed, but if you haven't, please consider subscribing or sharing the show. We're up to over 4,230. Would like to get to 4,500 by Christmas, but that might be a tall order. Christmas is only a couple weeks away now, isn't it? Shoot, it's only like 9 days. Is it 9 days to Christmas? 16 plus 9, 25? I don't know. Could we get to 4,500 by then? Let's like, subscribe, and share, and maybe we can do it. I don't know. DBD says, "Listen, TJ, I know you don't want to wear a mask, but please reconsider because of whooping cough, I think, and measles and COVID." Christine says, "I'm the one you don't want to piss off." Okay. All right. All righty then. Brooklyn says some membership. Thank you, Brooklyn. Yippee to Brooklyn. And guess who got it? Christine 16. It was meant to be. Christine, enjoy your membership. Thank you, Brooklyn, for that. I appreciate you. Primitive Icon says, "Wishing you good vibes today, TJ. Been listening while doing chores. Take care." Thank you, Robin, for being here. I appreciate you. Sandy Foles says, "You're not going to see your daughter on Christmas." I don't know right now. I don't know. I'm not counting on it. I don't think I can make it down there. Jolie says, "Hi, Billy Kid." Oh, did I skip Billy Kid? Didn't mean to skip you. So hello, Billy Kid. Jolie says, "Hi, Billy Kid. It was entertaining to watch that video, I guess." Primitive Icon, member for 14 months. Thank you so much. Yippee. Happy truck anniversary to Primitive Icon. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. Thanks for being here. Thank you guys so much. Anyone else want to say anything? Let's see. Yeah, thanks guys for being here. I appreciate you. I'm in a mellow mood this Christmas. I don't really feel like coming on here and cussing at you guys or yelling at you guys. I don't know. I feel like I've turned a whole new leaf. I feel like I've been on the cookie pan and someone flipped me over. I don't know. I don't feel like yelling at you anymore. I might not be tough cookie. I might be soft cookie. I don't know. I might be old softy cookie at this point. But anyhow, thanks for being here, guys, and happy holidays to everybody. Wow, tough cookie there. Woof. Yeah, I think we'll have to change Tough Cookie's name. Yeah, for sure. But thanks everyone for being here. I appreciate you. Also, happy holidays to everyone. Hope just don't let Trump ruin our holidays. We're gonna have a happy holidays no matter what. Just we're not gonna have 32 dolls and 32 pencils, but doggone it, we don't need that anyhow. All we need is each other to have a good time, a good time, a good time. I think I heard a song. The song it kind of goes like that, and I always sway when I hear this song, and it's like, We're going to have a good time, a good time, good time. You know, there's a song I can't really place where I heard that, but I heard it somewhere. I've heard it somewhere, and I know it gets me swaying back and forth when I hear that song. Anyhow, you guys have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow, so don't sweat it. All right, Paul Purple Beard guy, Soft Cookie, or whatever he's going by now. Thank you guys all so much, and thank you guys out there for watching and everything you're doing. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll do 11 a.m. Pacific time, and I might go live from the cab tonight. Right? That's always a possibility. So if you're on YouTube and you got nothing better to do, and you see me come on in and say hi. I might be broadcasting. I might be streaming from the cab tonight on the streets of Las Vegas. Tonight is what? Tuesday night? It's Tuesday, right? So we'll see. See if it's if I can get some rides. I need to get 15 rides. All right, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much. Thanks, Jolie and Aaron, for all your help. You guys' help with all you do. And thanks everybody else. All we got to do now is the words of wisdom. So, guys, get out your paper and one of your 32 pens or pencils. And you might want to write this down. It's one of those things people write down. So, okay, you guys ready? Okay, so for today's words of wisdom, they're going to go a little something like,
well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So I style of Easter, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I try to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid, but doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've From my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. In my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. So you want to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love, it's all about the thrills. It's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows, so go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. It's so damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along.
Show's over. I'm out of here, folks. Bye.